Gun trigram at the lower position. Kun trigram at top position is Qian hexagram. Gun is the mountain, Kun is the ground. Therefore, the image of Qian hexagram is the mountain in the ground. The name Qian has the same spelling as Qian. Qian is the sky. They are different. In standard Chinese language, same spelling can have 4 different tones, while Qian is the first tone, Qian is the second tone. To distinguish them, I added a dash on top of letter A to indicate it is the first tone, Qian. The name of this hexagram, Qian, means humility, modesty. The lower trigram, Gun, has the attribute of blocking, arresting. The upper trigram, Kun, has the attribute of broad and receptive. Together, they made the Qian hexagram as humble. King Wen of Zhou made the judgment on Qian hexagram as an honest, humble person could see things through to the end. Qian hexagram has Gun as lower trigram and Kun as upper trigram. Gun is the mountain and Kun is the ground. Even though the mountain has the potential to rise up to the sky, but it is going to be contained on the ground. It is the image of Qian. It is heuristic to human affairs. For example, if someone is super rich, better be humble and don't show off. I heard the story of a lottery jackpot winner lost his fortune in just a few years. So humble become a way of living, a way of self-protection. Now let's go to the lines of Qian hexagram to see how does this Qian hexagram progress. Qian hexagram has only one yang line at third position, and the other 5 lines are yin lines. First, the yin line is the start of the Qian hexagram. An honest person who is sincere should be modest, so can start working on realizing his or her big dreams. Here we see only an honest person who is sincere can do this. If a hypocritical person pretends to be modest, it does not work. Only an honest person who is modest, who is the self-disciplined person, is good for taking actions to do something big. Second yin line of Qian hexagram is at the center of Gun trigram. It's time not only for an honest person to be honest, but also for an honest person to keep modest and announce the modest, influence to others by his or her humility. Third yang line of Qian hexagram is the only yang line. So an honest person would take actions in modest manner and see things through to the end. That tells us modesty does not mean lack of courage, lost confidence, afraid of take risks. On the contrary, that an honest person acts modestly really means that the honest person who is courageous and confident would take actions in a self-disciplined manner. The next 3 yin lines expand the actions in detail. The fourth inline of Qian hexagram tells us a humble person can do everything. Why? Because he or she do things according to the rules or laws. The fifth inline of Qian hexagram is the center of upper Kun trigram. It's the peak of Qian hexagram. If a humble leader leading a state, the state would be strong and rich. This strong state does not need to show the richness to the neighboring states for them to come with you. But the modesty of this strong state would make the other states to follow willingly. In case the other states do not follow, it is good to conquest them using the army. However, if the leader is not a modest, humble person who cannot keep his state strong and rich, would not succeed conquesting neighboring states. Knowing the authors of judgments on hexagram and line comments are King Wen of Zhou and Duke of Zhou. They were leaders of state of Zhou, so the comments on fifth line of Qian is for them to teach their successors or heirs to behave themselves. Therefore, for our ordinary people, we are not going to conquest our neighbors, but certainly can be influential to the others. Top inline of Qian hexagram is at the ending stage. If the leader of a state have not conquered all the other states yet, he or she has to stop invading more states, but focus on internal affairs, domestic affairs, only to use army for rebels in a modest manner. The comments are again for leaders of a state. For us ordinary persons, it tells us to put a limit on our ambitions. If one still had something wanted to do but did not have it done, it's time to stop trying. Stop trying new adventures, but consolidate what one already accomplished. 6 stages of Qian hexagram illustrated the process of humility. It starts with the humble mind, continues on practice humility, makes the most profits out of it, and keeps them in a modest manner. Qian has been an important part of traditional Chinese culture. I believe it still is. When I was little growing up in China, it was my strong feeling that Qian's modesty became a moral standard for everyone. Such an overemphasis on modesty in Chinese society tends to make people lack of self-expression, lack of self-esteem, lack of spirit of innovation. The hexagram that is right before Qian hexagram is Dayou hexagram. Dayou has Qian trigram in lower position and Li trigram at top position. Qian is the sky, Li is the fire. Dayou has the image of the fire on the sky. It brings light to everywhere. Just like our country, the United States of America, we just passed 250 years birthday. We are reaching our peak time. USA has brought the world into a new era. It matches Dayou hexagram. The next hexagram following Dayu is this Qian hexagram. I do feel it is the time for us to prepare protecting modesty. Here I raised two questions. When to practice humility? How to practice humility? Here's my answers. When a person has something the others do not have, it is a time for this person to practice humility. That is, if you have a lot more money, or have higher socio-political status, or even have more talents, you might have to be humble. The answer to second question is we should practice humility in modest manner. Qian has the mountain hiding in the ground, not the mountain becoming the ground. That is, humility is a way to protect what we have, not to give up what we have. Next time, we'll talk about Yu hexagram. Bye.